What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 32. I'm Gus Rico here. To my left, I got Andy Lira.
Hi, yeah, welcome back to episode 32. Excited, ready to go, like if it was our first one. So, welcome back.
All right. Love your outfit today, Lyra. Love the hat. Love your pistachio sweater. Looking great. Your jeans are not ripped or anything. So you got the pandas on. Man, great outfit today,
Yeah,
Lyra.
I had to upgrade. I've been
You did.
getting, a little tease and clown on. So, I had to put a little fit together. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
pistachio
We
sweater.
upgraded.
Look, you upgraded. Love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we get started here, let's go over some updates real quick. We got. I hope everyone enjoyed their break. Well needed. Their 2 week break. A couple kids stayed busy. I've seen, which is great. We'll see everyone on the 6th or 7th of next week. We're excited to get back on the field with you guys. It's going to be a great spring season. I'm excited for it. The grass is nice and green at Birmingham, so we can't wait. If you haven't yet, go subscribe to our YouTube channel. Uh, so hit the link, right, Lyra?
Hit the link, hit the like button as well.
Hope everyone had a great holidays. Hope everyone had tamales, pozole, all of the above. I know we did, and we're trying to get back in the gym and sweat it all out. All right, 9U fundraiser and 12U fundraiser. 12U is having a poker tournament in February. If you're interested in playing poker, let us know. That takes place at Springbok, close by
Springbok.
Birmingham. So that's going to be a big poker tournament for the kids to go to Cooperstown. All right. Tryouts on January 12th. That's next Sunday. We have tryouts at Birmingham. If you guys are interested in trying out for us, come on out and we'll see you there. Lastly, shout out to Hot Corner Baseball. Ponch Creos, he donated a hat for us, and he's going to not donate, but we're going to get some stuff from him.
Yeah.
That way we can keep passing stuff out, not today, but in the future. All right, Lyra, all you.
Yeah. Then again, happy holidays. Welcome back. We're ready to go next week once we get started to go get on that field. Hope you guys miss it just as much as we do. But yeah, man. Today, episode 32. It's gonna be a great one, man. We have a great guest, great person, great athlete, ex-professional baseball player. He played at Cal State Fullerton in college, won a natty there. He got drafted back in 2004 by the A's. Played with the A's. He played with the Twins. He played with the Nationals. He played with the Angels as well. Finishes off career there. So I'm excited to hear his story, to hear the background, and to get this positive carded
World Series
started.
champ.
World Series champ as well. None less, Kurt Suzuki.
What's up, fellas? Thanks for having me.
What's up, Kurt?
So, man, how you doing?
Man, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. I know this is our first episode on Zoom, so I know when I texted you this morning, I was like, "Hey, here's the address to the studio." You were like, "I thought we're doing this on Zoom." I'm like, "Oh shit, okay."
Oh, my bad.
So,
my bad.
yeah, no, you're good. That falls on Lyra. That's Lyra's fault, man. But I'm glad we're doing it on Zoom because with that background there, we should have gone to you. We definitely should have gone to you. We should have taken all this equipment out there and shit. Look at that. Oh my
For
god.
real, look at that. Got the World Series in the background.
Yeah, that would have been pretty cool to go to you. But anyways, thanks for coming on. It's an honor to have you on, and we can't wait to hear your background and talk a little bit of baseball and a little bit of catching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we would love to hear your background, how it started, where you grew up at, and get started from there.
Yeah, so I for those of you who don't know, I grew up in Maui. Small island, in the state of Maui. I mean, the state of Hawaii. And I grew up in a small town called Wailuku, and it was definitely a local lifestyle. I didn't. There's no such thing as travel baseball. So I grew up fishing, I grew up surfing, I grew up boogie boarding, hanging out with friends, spearfishing, all that kind of stuff. Played all the seasons, and honestly, I played soccer, I played basketball, a little bit of flag football, all that kind of stuff, and I really didn't start focusing on baseball like 100% until I was in high school. So obviously, nowadays, myself, we talked a little bit about this earlier, jumping into the travel ball scene. Last year was my first year. It's pretty wild. To say the least, not just to go into like specifics, but it's wild. It's competitive. It's fun. It is what it is, and I feel like just like with baseball, when you're doing the analytics, when you're doing all those type of things, you have to adapt to the times, and if not, you're going to get left behind, and that's kind of something that I talked about. But anyway, growing up in Maui, I went to high school. I was on varsity for 4 years. Started 4 years. Didn't really get recruited. One school recruited me fully. Was University of Hawaii. I had a full ride to University of Hawaii, but decided to take my talents, or decided to walk on at Cal State Fullerton. Was there. Funny story. I don't know if it's a funny story, but it's a pretty crazy story. Is I walked on with two other catchers that were receiving full scholarships, and I think that was something that a lot of people didn't know is, I did walk on, but I also walked on with two other freshmen that got full scholarships. And, that didn't deter me. I just wanted a chance. I wanted a chance to compete. I wanted a chance to win. I wanted a chance to just like everybody else, full ride,
sure.
walk on, whatever. And ended up starting my freshman year.
Look at that.
At Cal State. Got hurt a little bit, got a little bit of a bumpy road. I wasn't used to playing such grueling seasons. We started training in February. In September, we had 2-a-days in January. We started our season in February. It was just a long season. I got hurt my freshman year. So, going into my sophomore year, I kind of had a feeling on what I really was ready to expect, and that led me to my sophomore year. We went to the College World Series. We should have won the College World Series my sophomore year, but we lost to Stanford 2 games. It was what it was. They were a good team. We just couldn't finish it off, and then went back my junior season. We weren't as good as we were my sophomore year, but we ended up winning it all against Texas, best of 3. I think that was the second year they did that whole best of 3 championship series. Took down a Texas team that was talented, fully loaded. Obviously the legendary Augie Garrido at Texas, Cal State Fullerton background as well. And then got drafted in the second round with the A's. I could go on and on. Obviously, I was a second round pick. The first pick that the A's picked was a catcher from South Carolina. His name was Landon Powell. So I was the second catcher picked by the A's. Things happen. I always tell kids you got to be lucky sometimes. He blew out his knee. They called me. They said, "Hey, you want to go to big league camp?" I said, "Sure, I'm ready to go." And kind of the rest is history. I spent my first season in A-ball, second season in Double-A. And then my third season, I was in AAA for 2 months. Got called up to the big leagues in 2007. Back in Kendall for a couple months. After the All-Star break, they traded him to the Cubs, and I ended up starting. And the rest is history, man. I started there.
We can see in the background the rest was history. Man.
Started with the A's for 6 years. Got traded to the Nationals in 12. Went to my first playoffs, and then got traded back to the A's for that playoff run, and then went to sign a free agent deal with Minnesota for 3 years. Made the All-Star team in 2014, I believe. And then after that, signed with the Braves for 2 years, made the playoffs there, lost to the Dodgers. And then in 19, signed free agent deal, 2-year deal with the Nationals, won the World Series in 19 with a special team, and then finished off my career with the Angels for a couple years. that was great. You know, I was at the end of my career, backing up. Got to play at home. Got to play kind of in my backyard from my college days at Cal State.
Yeah.
I got to play, you know, with some great, you know, future Hall of Famers. Obviously, Albert Pujols, Mike Trout. You know, I got to play with some special kids and along the way, and it was a good ride. It was a good ride. I was ready to retire. I think 6 parts of 16 seasons in the major leagues, 15 full seasons. Body was ready to go. Kids are ready to have me back home, and now I'm jumping into the travel ball scene, and I'm a rookie. So
Oh man, good luck.
I'm a rookie. That is something that I definitely am new to, and I'm excited though. I'm excited to see what this season can bring.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's a great resume right there. A lot of stuff, but I mean, as baseball geeks here, man, that was one great ride by you, and I mean, college championship, World Series. I mean, as an athlete, as a baseball player, that's what you would want to live for. So you have those great moments. You know, I kind of want to pick it back that you did have a full scholarship to Hawaii. And then you chose not to stay home. You know, that's usually a pretty good, easy decision for people. Hey, you know what? I want to stay home, stay close to family, be in Hawaii. But when you went to Cal State Fullerton, you choose to take that risk and go all in on yourself. How much of a culture shock was it? Because I know you're talking about the baseball stuff with it, and that was a little shock to you. But what about the environment around there? What about, because now you have a lot of stuff going on in that little area or just that college town. Was it a big shock to you when you went there, like, you know, as a lifestyle?
Definitely a big shock. Like I said, obviously growing up in Hawaii, the lifestyle that I had was super laid back. Now I'm coming up playing against kids that were bigger than me, stronger than me, faster than me. But I always felt like whenever I had a challenge, I was able to step up to the challenge. Whether you know I wasn't as talented, but I was able to step up. And I think the best thing for me was getting out of my comfort zone. Because in baseball, as you know, you're going to be uncomfortable. I mean, I don't know, majority of the time. And the players that are able to adapt to being comfortable while being uncomfortable are the players that are going to be successful, and the players that are going to last, and the players that are going to be able to rise to the occasion. And I think the best thing for me was to take myself out of the comfortable environment of playing at home, playing in front of my family. I think that propelled me to the career I had, because you know, it wasn't always roses. It wasn't always success, you know, throughout my career. But I think being able to handle adversity, being able to step up the challenges that I was able to endure, coming from Hawaii, going to Cal State Fullerton, and being thrusted into that uncomfortable environment, being able to rise up to the challenge, I think that propelled me to be able to have such a long career. And who knows? I mean, hindsight's 2020, right? You can say it now because I did play 15 years, but I feel like being able to challenge myself and being able to rise up to that occasion really helped me.
That's awesome. Kurt, I'm a huge fan of Cal State Fullerton, and especially back in those days, some big names there. Justin Turner, Richie Pedroza, I want to say Danny Dorn, and Ricky Romero. Obviously, you know, Roosevelt High School, you know, local kid. Let's talk about that team. Let's talk about that run. Let's talk about your skipper. I mean, yeah, I want to hear. I definitely want to hear about that.
I want to hear the stories.
Once I hear about it, I'm gonna walk out. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that was a special team. You know, I think when you know, I called him Red. Justin Turner, you know, Ricky came in, Danny Dorn. It's actually Richie Pedroza's brother, Sergio Pedroza, was on that team. I feel like I think that was you can, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was either one or two recruiting class in the country when they came in as freshmen. I want to say, and it was definitely a special class. I mean, obviously, Justin Turner, the career he had, Danny Dorn, played a long time. Sergio, I mean, was unbelievable. I think Blake Davis was on that team. There's Neil
You had a
Walton.
DH. The DH was pretty good.
What's that?
The DH was pretty
Oh,
solid, and
Garcia. Yeah,
yes,
he was. He was a beast. I think he was a Diamond Bar in high school. I think he played with Danny Dorn in high school. Dustin Miller was a Diamond Bar high school kid too. Shoot, those kids were special, man. And
yeah.
you added some veteran guys with them. To kind of help them along, guide them. The year before we went, to the World Series, but just to help these kids, I guess get acclimated. But I mean, shoot, they started as freshmen right away, and
Yeah.
playing with our head coach at the time was George Horton. I know you guys probably know a little bit about Coach Horton. Our assistant coach was Dave Serrano.
Mhm.
Our other assistant coach was Rick Vanderhook. All three of them coached was the head coach at one point at big time colleges. Coach Vanderhook at Cal State Fullerton, also after Horton, and then Coach Serrano or before, I think Hookie was at Cal State Fullerton, then went to Tennessee, was at UCI. Hookie was at UCLA for a little bit. Horton went out to Oregon. I mean, I was blessed to be able to be coached by such great coaches, and I think that helped me. But I mean, those guys were it was like the perfect mix. And I say it all the time, but chemistry, right? You can always have chemistry with the players, but you also need chemistry with the coaches. The coaches have to complement each other just as much as the players have to complement each other. And I think we just had such a special group. Chad Baum, who's the head coach at Fullerton JC right now. He was there. The funny story, I don't know if you guys know of a guy named Brian Kane. But Brian Kane is probably one of the most well-respected sports psychologists. He learned from Ken Reviza, sports psychologist, probably the greatest ever sports psychologist, Ken Reviza. And Brian Kane was on our staff, and he was there with us. So we definitely had a special group. It was definitely a special group to take down such a great team in Texas.
It was meant to be.
Yeah,
it was definitely meant to be. One funny story I do have to say. So prior to that year, we started the season off. I believe we were 15 and 16, and we just got absolutely crushed. We went to Austin to play a series there, and they beat us up. They beat us up bad. And funny story, I tell this story, and Coach Horton knows we tell the story because he laughs. We always bring it up to him all the time. We told him, we lost to Texas, and the coach came over and say, hey, we'll see you guys in the summer. And he goes, we'll be watching you guys on TV. And we remember that as players. And we were like, okay. So when we won the national championship, we bring that up to Coach Horton all the time. We're like, we weren't watching them on TV. We were beating them. And it's a good story. But, I think we talk about adversity, right? We were on pace to be the worst team at that time, the worst team in Cal State Fullerton history.
Wow.
And then we reeled off in the Big West. We went 19-2 that year in the Big West, and we ended up, beating, Long Beach State, who was amazing with Jared Weaver, Troy Tulowitzki, Cesar Ramos, all those guys, all those studs were on that team, and we ended up beating them to win the Big West. But like you said, it was meant to be, and sometimes, it was we're just kind of destined to win a national championship.
yeah. It's one of those things too, because ourselves here, we love to try to surround ourselves with great coaches that compliment, great people that compliment us. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have a great circle, a great environment, usually everybody thrives on that. And I think that's where, a lot of coaches or a lot of players kind of lose sight of sometimes, where it's like, nah, man, if we're all pulling on the same rope, it makes things easier, but it's got to start from the top to the bottom. and it seems like that's what you guys did, and you guys faced adversity in the middle of the year, and then next thing you know, it's what they always say: it's not how you start, it's how you finish. So you
Exactly.
guys you guys finished and got hot at the right time, and I think that's where as teams or as players, it's hey, don't lose sight of what's the end goal. You're gonna go through your bumps, your stuff like that as a team, but even individually as well. Because I'm sure there could have been moments like in that run where some of you, or maybe yourself had moments where it's like, man, like we're going down the drain. We're not doing what we're supposed to do, especially with a good draft class. I mean, a good recruit class. And then, but you're just sticking to it, and that's, and even as coaches like ourselves, it's stick to the game, like stick to the end goal. You got to just ride it through because once you get hot, you get hot, and that's what you guys went through, and it was fun to see that, or to hear about it, because it's like, man, it's you hear those stories where it's like, stay on it. It's not how you start, it's how you finish, and then you guys come from that. I know it must have been a great environment at the end for sure.
Yeah, it was awesome. I don't know if they panned to our dugout in the College World Series, but we had a piece of tape on our dugout, and it had a saying. It said, "Think how good it's gonna feel," and that's kind of what not our mantra, but it was kind of that's our feeling was we started off 15 and 16, and we always said, think how good it's gonna feel when we take this all the way into the championship and to win the champ. Like, think how good this is gonna feel, and that kind of drove us. That kind of gave us that extra drive to like, hey, next pitch, move on, like forget about it, flush it down the toilet, flush that at bat down, but just keep going. Whatever obstacles, whatever bumps, whatever adversity we had to face, think how good it's gonna feel in the end. And I think that was kind of a big thing. And I know it kind of sounds corny sometimes, but you need those type of things. And that not to kind of ramble on, but in 2019, shoot, when we won the World Series, the MLB World Series, we started off 19 and 32 or something like that.
Yeah, I didn't think
We
you
got
guys were gonna win that.
everybody was getting fired, and guys are getting traded, and guys are getting released, and we had the oldest team in baseball. But we stuck together, man. And I feel like my experience in 2004 at Cal State Fullerton really helped me with that, because it allowed me to focus on what I could focus on, control what I could control, and that was every single day. And our mantra in 2019 was go 1-0, go 1-0 today. Forget about trying to get everything back in 1 month. Win 50 games. You can't win 50 games in a month. Let's take it day by day. Go 1-0 today. And we had Dave Martinez at the helm, who he worked with Ken Ravizza at one point, and he was such a special cog in that team that he guided us to where we needed to be, and it was awesome.
Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, you had the young Juan Soto there, um,
Cool.
right? And
20-year-old
Oh.
Soto.
yeah,
Ah.
he's grown up now, but man, that young Juan Soto brought in the shuffle. How was that being with him there, especially the young one?
He was you could see it right away. The way the ball came off the bat, the approach that he had. He takes more walks and strikeouts at 20 years old in the big leagues. But I think what people don't realize is, as a 20-year-old, some guys are, I mean, I was in college at 20, and I was just going and hitting and taking BP and just trying to hit the balls over the fence. I mean, this kid had a routine from day one that I saw him, and his routine never wavered. I mean, it wavered a little bit in the point that he might have changed some of the drills he did in the batting cage, but every single day he was doing something to get better. And as a 20-year-old, I mean, that's tough. That's tough to find, and that's why he is where he is today. Besides the talent, because talent can only take you so far. He had a routine. He had a mindset. He believed in himself, and that's why you're seeing Soto the way he is. And I was very fortunate to be able to watch that kid and watch him to just shine on the biggest stage in baseball, in the World
There
Series.
is.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy was fun. He was. I don't know how he didn't get drilled more times. This guy never got hit, and just be able to watch this kid grow, man, it was special.
Oh, he got paid.
Oh, he got paid.
He got paid for
He
sure.
got
He
paid for
deserves every
damn
last
sure.
penny he got.
Yeah.
I mean, good for him. He he said no to the Nationals back a couple years ago, and he got paid. He deserves it. So I want to talk about the clubhouse. I want to talk about what you went through, or your, Fullerton and the Nationals, where you said you guys were 15 and 16, and you guys were 19 and 30, whatever it was. How was that clubhouse environment at the time where you guys felt like you guys were going downhill? Because I mean, you and I both know the clubhouse is important. It's huge.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most important part.
Yes.
At the end of the day, right? Everybody in that clubhouse, like you said earlier, is you're pulling on the same rope, right? You're the end goal is the same, is to win a national championship, to win a World Series. That's the end goal, and everybody has to be pulling on the same, has to have the same belief, has to believe in the same things. And when you hit that rough patch, I think you'll see the true colors of a person, right? Because I always say you find out who the person really is when adversity hits, or when obstacles, struggles hit. You find out the true, I guess, person will come out.
Yeah.
And funny thing is, both of those teams had very similarities where we knew we were sucking. I mean, it was just no mystery, right? We knew we were sucking, but we believed in each and every single person on that team, that we knew we had the talent, we knew we had everything we needed to come out on top and to turn that thing around. And I think dealing with that adversity brought us closer. And I feel like if you go, and I'm not saying it happens every time, but you go through the season, you're always winning, you're 20 games up, you're always in first place, whatever. When you go to the playoffs, I feel like maybe you're not quite ready yet. And you haven't faced that adversity, because in the playoffs, like you said, you get hot, it doesn't matter what your record is. You get hot, you're going to win. And I feel like when we hit that adversity, we weren't afraid. We weren't playing afraid to lose. We were just playing the game. And I think when you're in first place and you have all these expectations, whether it's the Dodgers, whether it's the Yankees, whether it was Texas, whether it was Miami, you almost have that expectation to win. Like, why aren't you going to win? You're number one all year. Why aren't you going to win? You had the best record in baseball. And I feel like that added pressure almost kind of plays to a disadvantage to that team. And whether it's for us, we were coming in 19, we were the wild card, and in 2004 we were the lowest seed in the College World Series. And I felt like that helped us, because we just played the game with no fear. There was no expectation. There was no fear. We just went out there and we played the game. We slayed the Giants. We did what we had to do to win. And I feel like the clubhouse culture was a loose. Everybody believed in each other. We didn't hear the outside noise about, Texas, Miami, the Dodgers, the Yankees, or the Astros, whatever. We didn't care about that. We believe in each and every single person in that room. We believe we had what we needed to win. And at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. If you believe in each other, it doesn't matter what the outsiders think. You believe that, you're going to win. And that's what happened.
Yeah, that's huge right there. It's always been one of those where the clubhouse, it's very important. Would you say, was there a moment within you players where you guys had where it was like, you know what, this is the moment that it turned around? Like, because I think even myself, high school, or because winning a championship in high school and in college and all that stuff, you always got to have that one moment within players, whether it be a meeting, whether it be a like, hey, you know what, holding each other accountable, to where, hey, let's try to flip it, and the next thing you know, it flipped. Was there one of those moments in 2004 or in 2019 where it was like, you know what, we had a players meeting, we had this, and this is when things started to turn around for us?
I think shoot, 2004. I don't know if my memory can last that long, but I have. There was a time once we got to so back then you had the preseason, whether it was your non-conference games, and we said, okay, conference, this is a new slate. Everybody's 0-0. We win the conference, we're gonna be good. We're gonna get to the postseason. We're gonna get to regionals. We're gonna be good. And I feel like we had that talk of get the monkey off our back, forget about what just happened. Let's live in the day. And we started the conference, and it almost got to a point where we felt like we were never gonna lose. And I know it's weird being 15 and 16 and thinking you're never going to lose another game, but that's almost how we felt. We had Jason Windsor, we had Ricky Romero, we had Mike Martinez, and we had our lineup with Justin Turner, myself, Danny Dorn, Felipe Garcia, PJ Pilateri. We just felt like we were never going to lose, and obviously I think we went 19-2 in conference. But that same feeling we also had with the Nationals in 2019. It was we were down, we walked the team off, and not to and there's a one game, and I'm not saying it just because I was the one that hit the homer, but I guess we were down by I think 6 or 7 runs. Jacob deGrom started that game, and we ended up going into the 9th inning, we were down by 3 or something, and I know it was the top of the 9th, and Trey thought, not to throw Trey out, that's my boy, but Trey thought there were 2 outs where there was only 1. He had a ground ball up the middle. Instead of turning a double play, he stepped on the base and kept running to the dugout. And there's only, he could have threw to first and it would have been a double play out again. Instead, we only got 1 out, so they had an extra out, and then Pete Alonso came up, hit a 3-run homer, and our 3-run deficit turned into a 6-run deficit. And then we ended up chipping away. We believed, we kept fighting. And long story short, I came up against Edwin Diaz and hit a walk-off 3-run homer off him. It was like a 10-pitch at bat. And we were just like, holy crap. Like I can't believe this one. Like there's something going on here. Like, it's something special with this team. We never quit. We never say die. Something special with this team. And going into the World Series, I think every series we played besides the Cardinals, the wild card game, the Dodger, NLDS, the NLCS, we swept the Cardinals, and then the Astros, we went and we had elimination. I think we had like 5 elimination games that postseason, and we won every single one of them. So it was just when it's going to be again.
Battle tested for sure. You guys were battle tested, as you can say. And I think one of the sayings too is one of the most dangerous teams are the ones that got nothing to lose. Nothing. That they like when you go out there and you play like you got nothing to lose, man, how effective that team can be. And and you guys had that mindset, and that's what we try to tell everybody, the kids, the high school guys. Just go out there and play like you have nothing to lose. What do you have to lose? Have fun with the game, and respect the game, do the things right, and it's gonna treat you right. And at the end of the day, like, go out there and have fun. And you guys definitely had fun those years. That's for sure.
Too much fun.
Oh, man.
I had pain bottles. No, that's great, man. Congratulations on all that success. I mean, you definitely winners win, and you're one of them. I mean, wow, that's why you're on here. That's why we have you on. But moving on, I want to talk about, since obviously you're a catcher, I want to talk about what you feel about what's going on out there, the traditional 2 feet or the 1 knee. How do you feel about that? What are you a fan of? Should you be on 1 knee with runner on first? I don't know. I mean, what do you think?
Yes, it's definitely the game's definitely evolving, right? It's all these catchers, pitch framing metrics. I feel like the whole blocking thing has kind of, it hasn't gone out the window, but it's kind of decreased a little bit. And I've been in both sides, right? I came up in 07 when nobody really cared much about framing, and then now my last couple of years it was all about framing. It was all about the 1 knee, And for me, I believe in doing what is best suited for yourself to be successful. Like, I couldn't catch like Yasmani Grandal. Yasmani Grandal couldn't catch like Austin Barnes. Austin Barnes can't catch like I don't know, William Contreras. So whatever the player is, you have to do what's best for yourself. In regards to the setup, the stance, flexibility definitely comes into play. Some kids are less flexible. Some kids are bigger, taller. Some kids shorter, might have more of an advantage to get lower and get those lower pitches called. But I think at the end of the day, whatever is best for you, like if there's a runner on, I always say, if there's a runner on third, and that's the tying or winning run or whatever run it is, whenever there's a runner on third, my job is to prevent him from scoring. So I have to put myself in the best position. If I'm catching Max Scherzer and I'm calling for a 2-strike slider in the dirt, I'm going to be anticipating that ball to be in the dirt. I'm not thinking about trying to frame this pitch for a strike because I'm believing that he's going to bounce it in the dirt and I'm going to have to block it. And that if that's a winning or tying run, so you have to definitely give and take a little. It can't just be all one thing. And it can't be, whether it can't be all framing or can't be all blocking. And it goes to the analytics, with the old school and the new school, whether it's for hitting, whether it's for pitch calling or scouting reports. I feel like the best solution is to have a little bit of both. I'm not saying one is better than the other, but I feel like if you can create something like something with the old school with a little bit of new school, and you can create the best possible plan of attack, whatever it is, that's the best. And I think when guys get caught up in too much old school or it has to be this way because this is how I did it, to no, this is the data shows this, then I feel like you're doing yourself a disservice because analytics is great, but so is old school. Old school is great. So why can't you come in the middle and create this best possible scenario for both parties and create something special? And I feel like the teams that can do that the best are the teams that will have the best success.
Agree.
Yeah. No, honestly, I think it's all situational too. Like you said, like run on third. You can't have the ball go past you. How many times has there one? I think there was in the Dodger game too, World Series or a couple of the games on the road to there where a couple pass balls went through, and then it was that because they tried to pick it, right? Like they're trying to pick it, and I think that's one thing where it's like, hey, if there's a run on first, you're trying to throw somebody out. I think it's hard to throw somebody out on a one knee. It's okay to go, on your regular catching stance and try to throw somebody out. So I think it's all situational. And I think that's how you would find the balance. But, I mean, these people here think that numbers is just one way, and then you have guys are going, and it's like, a lot of these, I don't know, I think there's a lot of these new school guys that are in more powerful positions, and a lot of these old school guys are trying to not, in the sense, speak out on it because they're like, well, I'm not trying to get fired, or I'm not trying to do this. So they're trying to go. I think... having the players go up and be like, hey, you know what? If we can find this balance, we can do this and go. I think that's where we can change it a little bit. But I mean, at the end of the day,
whatever works for the athlete.
Yeah, it's we gotta adapt, like you said earlier. It's all about adapting, and if that's where it's going, then it's going. But
that was great info, though. I love that kind of meeting in the middle.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then for example, I'm working with one of your players, right? Mason. Metcalf. Great kid, super athletic kid. Obviously, plays shortstop, plays infield. I mean, kid's just a super stud athlete. And so for me, when I'm working with him, right, I'm trying to use his strengths to his advantage. Where I'm not going to say, hey, Mason, you got to catch like this because I think this is, this is the way that everybody is teaching right now. Because I think then that's unfair to the player because I'm taking away all of his strengths from him because I'm saying this is how people say you got to catch that way. Instead, what I try to do with him, whether I try to do with whoever, if I'm trying to work with Logan O'Hoppe or whoever it is in the minor leagues, right? I'm trying to use their strengths to their advantage. Where, for Mason, it's like, hey, try this position. Hey, maybe do a couple tweaks here and there until we find the right position where it's like, hey, can you block from here? Can you get up and throw from here? Okay, no. Okay, let's try this. But I think you have to, as a coach, as a front office, as whatever you are, as a teacher, you have to give these kids and put them in the best positions for them, because at the end of the day, they're the product on the field. They're the ones that are out there getting the job done at the end of the day. And so for myself now, being in their shoes, I understand that, and I think sometimes it gets lost. And I'm not saying that coaches or people aren't doing things the right way. I think with my experience of failure, my experience of not being the best, I understand both sides of the spectrum. And I feel like you have to allow these kids, these players, to play and to use their strengths to their advantage, and not keyhole them into doing it one specific way because you said, or this guy said, this is the best way. Well, it might not be the best way for them. So our job, to be a good coach, you have to adapt to every single person. You have to understand every single person's strength. You can't just go in and tell a kid, hey, you got to go like this, without even watching him catch. Then you're doing him a disservice. So at the end of the day, I think that the old school, the new school, if you can vibe, that'll be the best scenario, no doubt, in my mind.
Love it.
Yeah, for sure.
Great stuff, man. So you're involved in the travel ball world now. How do you feel about that? What's going on out there? What do you? You're a rookie when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Pros and cons to it.
Yeah. There, look at that right there.
Yeah, that's my 8U team. That's my younger son. They're more in the fun. They have fun together. And I felt like me playing for the years that I have, I was able to be involved in my kids' careers, or I mean, you want to say careers now, they're 8 and 11, but in their sports world, right? I wasn't able to be involved in that. And now that I feel like I'm retired, I feel like my calling was to help kids, and obviously I'm able to coach my kids. I'm able to be involved, and I'm not doing it because I feel like I'm the best coach. I'm doing it because I want to be involved in their lives. I want to be able to be with them every step of the way. And eventually I'm gonna have to sail off in the sunset, and these kids are gonna have to go do their thing. But I think right now, this is the best for myself, and I'm saying it's the best for them. Trying to create this environment for them that it's not just about going out there and going 3 for 3 and hitting 2 homers or throwing a shutout. It's about learning how to win when you're not at your best. And I feel like that kind of gets lost, where everybody kind of thinks about, oh, if I go 3 for 3, then it's a good day. Well, not really. If you lose and you go 3 for 3, it doesn't matter, right? It's about the team, and I feel like sometimes it gets lost in the whole realm of. I don't want to say everybody coaches that way, but I'm just saying sometimes you can get. I got caught up in it when I played. I was like, oh, I got to go 3 for 3 today, because that's a good day. Well, no, you have to do what it takes to help the team win. You could go 0 for 3 and you guys win. You did something right to help the team win because you guys won. But if you go 4 for 4 and you lose, well, it doesn't matter what you did because your team won. And the individual aspect, like we talked about a little bit earlier, the individual aspect sometimes gets taken over. And I'm guilty of it too from when I played. Sometimes I wasn't perfect all the time either, but I'm trying to instill in the kids at an early age that it's about the team first and it's about the individual second.
That's great.
Yeah, that's huge right there, because it's like it is getting lost in it, in the sense of like, hey, it's what I did and not what we did. But I think that's where, as coaches, we always gotta go and kind of combat that and and be like, hey, it's about, because you're gonna strike out. It's baseball. We're gonna fail. Like, there's no way you're gonna go 3 for 3 every game. So it's hey, you go 0 for 3 or 0 for 2. You still gotta go play defense. Go make a diving play. Go make a double play. Go throw somebody out. You're still affecting the win or the outcome of the game that way. And so they don't get, because a lot of kids get discouraged nowadays, and then they go play defense, and then they throw a little tantrum here and there. So I think that's where it's like, hey, you know what? There's two sides to the game. You can make a big impact on both, and I think that's what we try to always preach to these kids, and also the parents, because that's another thing as well.
So I mean, as a youth catcher, I mean, if you have a bad at bat, you still got to throw it back to the pitcher. You still got to throw guys out. You still got to block. You still got to call time at the right time, whatever it is, and it gets competitive. And I mean, these young athletes, parents as well, got to understand that. I mean, nowadays at the high school level, if you go 1 for 3, your name's on the paper.
Yeah,
it's like, man.
Exactly. Right. And I think for the most part, too, the parents, as you guys know, being coaches in a successful travel organization, every kid to their parents are a shortstop, or my kid should be hitting third, or why is my kid not pitching, or whatnot. And I feel like, and I say this in the nicest possible way, but you go to high school, you go to college, or you go to pro ball. If a coach or manager or general manager says, "Hey, can you play third base? I need a third baseman." No, sorry, I'm a shortstop. I can't play third base. You're out of your mind, right? You're like, I will play wherever you tell me to play. Wherever you think I can be successful and help the team, I'm gonna play. Because he's gonna be like, okay, fine, see ya. I'm gonna find somebody else that can play. You can go play shortstop, back up, the starting shortstop for the next 3 years. But it's like, no, you're out of your mind. And then like in this is like the parents are like, okay, he's not a shortstop, I'm gonna go find another team. And you're like, what are you teaching these kids? It's like no, like learn how to play left field, or learn how to play first base or second base or right field. Like be the best you can be at the position that is going to help the team, because in the long run that's gonna help you more than being stubborn. And you might be a shortstop in high school, but at this moment this is not what the team needs. I need you to play here, so you need to learn how to adapt to the situation. And as you guys know, it's that's the hardest part as a coach for travel ball.
It is. When I write my lineup, there's a 1 through 9. I just go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I tell my guys, see, you're batting third. You're batting first.
That's a great. I love that.
I'm about to say, for real, I didn't start using that since when?
I erased all the numbers. I just go 1, 2, 3. I'm just kidding. I don't do that.
I'm about to say, there's no way.
I should start doing that. I was like, hey, you're batting third. What's the big deal? Well, you're batting first.
I mean, but then it's I don't know, but yeah, man, it's like I said, it's a new day, new age, man. It's we gotta adapt to it, and it's like we're trying to instill the little fundamental things of baseball that's been working since way before we were even born, to try to go with this new school. And it's hard, but we're doing it as best as we can. I think we're doing it. And I'm sure you'll figure out your way of how to get that going, and once you do, you run with it, and you'll be fine.
Good luck with that.
Yeah,
you'll be more than fine.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm doing the best I can. It's really a grind, and it's a good challenge for me. Because like I said, it's dealing with adversity, dealing whether you're playing or coaching now. You're gonna be dealing with something. There's something that you have to adapt to, and you have to change, and I guess you have to instill in these kids that, hey, you might be hitting here today, but I tell you what, you're hitting 9 in the lineup. But when you're coming up in the 5th inning and the bases are loaded, you're my cleanup hitter now. Right. So that whole lineup goes out the window, because you could be hitting wherever in the lineup, but you might come up in the most important part of the game. And so if you're going to be pissed that you're hitting 8th, or coach is putting me 10th, like, so what? Like, I'm hitting with the bases loaded now, the chance to win the game. And at that time, you're the cleanup hitter. So let's go. So that's what I try to do, and it's not easy as a kid. I get it. And I try to tell the kids, hey, when coach played, we won the World Series, dude. I hit 8th. And whenever they try to move me up because I was doing good, I was like, leave me alone. Let me hit 8th. I want to hit 8th. Stop.
Yeah.
and because that's just how the lineup flowed. It flowed really well, and I was coming up in good spots, and I was being successful. I was like, stop touching the lineup, like leave me eighth, stop moving me up. And
Right.
so I know it's a whole different, thing, but I
Oh,
try
yeah.
to relate to them as best as I can.
That's great, man. Well, good luck, and if you need any advice from us, just ask away. We
Yeah,
probably
we're-
don't
we're
know it
here.
all, but I mean, we're pretty experienced when it comes to certain things, but good or bad, good or bad, yeah, good and the bad. But yeah, so you ended up your career with the Angels. Otani was there, obviously, at the
Yeah.
time.
That's
Yes.
for sure. How was that? Oh, I gotta hear that. How
I gotta
was
hear
that?
this. Did you ever catch him?
Oh man,
You
this
caught him.
guy. I always felt like he was just playing around on the mound. I always felt like he was doing his thing, like just whatever. He's flipping the ball up in the air, no big deal. And I said, man, if this guy wanted to throw a no hitter every game, he probably could. If he actually cared and stopped messing around, he probably could throw a no hitter every game. That's how good I thought he was, and I think he is.
Oh, there it is.
He would go start the game, he'd be throwing 92, 95, just kind of throwing. And I'm not kidding you. You're like, oh, maybe he's tired today because DHing and pitching, like playing every day. I mean, it's a grind. I mean, I can't imagine how his body felt. So I'm like, oh, he's probably tired. He just let off and hit a homer. So he's probably tired. He comes out 92, 95. The guy gets on second base. I'm not kidding you. The next pitch will be 99 to 100. And he'll be like, okay, you want to get on second base? You're not scoring. 99, 100, 101, 92 mile an hour split finger in the dirt. And you're just like, oh my God. Like, this guy it's a video game. One story, if we still got time, I got one story. It's a funny story. So Shohei's warming up in the bullpen. And we're watching him. He's throwing, he's warming up. And he goes, hey, I got a new pitch. We're like, what? New pitch? He goes, yeah, I call it my bullshit pitch. And we're like, oh, he goes, yeah, just put down 5. We're like, okay, five. We're thinking, he might pick a spot like, yeah, I'm gonna throw it here. No big. He threw that pitch. I think he threw it 35 or 36, something crazy, like 36 times. And he ended up striking out 11 guys that game. And you're like, this guy created a pitch before the game started, and he went out and threw it 30, like a third of the time, and struck out 11 guys. And you're like, this guy is incredible. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's he's
special.
The special. I mean, in hitting his routine, he had it. You knew when Shohei was coming to the cage to hit. Nobody was there because you knew when Shohei was going to be there. And you're like, I'm going to get out of his way. This guy's going to hit 2 homers tonight, But he was so meticulous in his plan, in his routine. And that's besides talent, obviously the otherworldly talent that he has. It's that stuff that puts him over the top. That's for sure.
I'm looking forward for him to pitch for the Dodgers this year. I want to see that.
Yeah. Man. I mean, this run, I think, was special because of him, the way he created that atmosphere in the clubhouse.
Yeah.
Like with that speech that Dave Roberts had and all that, and he was just like, it's not about me, let's go win it. And the way he approached the playoffs, because it was his first year, so you don't know if he was going to, if this pressure was going to get to him, if it's Otani or not. And then I think him having the support system with Mookie Betts there and Teoscar and Freddie Freeman, it allowed him to be more freely and take more chances. And I think that's why he was able to steal those bases and do those things. But seeing him in the playoffs and seeing him go and be the teammate he is, especially like with Teoscar and have that clubhouse, we always speak about it. It was huge. And we didn't see that with the Angels. You know what I mean? Or at least I didn't, just because we weren't probably watching the game much. But as what you speak, like he has fun playing the game. And he has fun being around the game. And I think that's the biggest thing for him. And, it goes for everybody. Like, once you have fun and you find that environment, that clubhouse, it can change how you play the game and it can change your way. But for him to be what he did and join the 50-50 club this year and and doing all of that is incredible.
special.
And look at him, he's over there making pitches. If we did that, Gus would have been like, "Yo, you're not throwing that, bro. What are you
I'm
doing?"
be like, nah.
Dude, he's
What are you doing?
free of nature. I mean,
Yeah,
he pretty much can do whatever. If he went up right-handed, he'd probably hit a homer. I mean, that's good Shohei.
agree with you.
It's freaking Shohei, man. Like, we don't expect anything less when it's Shohei. We're like, oh, he's gonna throw a no-hitter today. You can kind of feel it when he throws that first pitch. You're like, holy crap! Like he's on today, boys. Like, let's watch this game. Like, it could be special. But the thing with him also is when he wasn't feeling the best, he found a way to go 6 or 7 innings, or he found a way to impact the game, whether it was a sac fly or whatever it was. He was finding a way to impact the game whenever he wasn't feeling his best, and I think that's what makes him in that elite company. Is this guy made adjustments and figured stuff out in game, and I think that's special.
That's great.
That's for sure, man.
Well,
Wow.
man, thanks for coming on, Kurt. We really appreciate it. We're coming to an end here. This was great. We got to have part 2 one of these days, a couple months maybe, and we got to bring. Maybe we'll go to you. You definitely. Yeah, we'll go to you. We'll take all.
Let's go.
We'll take all our equipment and talk about USA baseball and all that stuff. And
oh man, I got so many stories, but I don't know if it could be on this podcast unless we have like a special
A special segment.
Yeah, we can make it happen. But we're gonna hit you with some rapid questions. You ready?
Yes.
All right, let's do it. Pitch clock or no pitch clock?
No pitch clock.
All right, we didn't hit that either. We got to next podcast. We got to talk about the pitch clock and all that stuff. So, all right, favorite catcher of all time, MLB before you.
Pudge Rodriguez.
Love it. Catcher on a knee or no knee?
On a knee.
Okay. Pitch calm or no pitch calm?
If you asked me when I was younger, I would have said no, not on a knee because I wasn't old and I could do it. But now I'm older, I say one knee.
All right. Pitch calm or no pitch calm?
No pitch calm.
Oh, DH or no DH?
No DH.
Wow. Man, a little bit of old school and new school.
I want to see the pitchers hit. The pitchers talk a lot. I want to see them hit.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Last one. Old school mask or new school mask?
Old school mask.
Nice. Yeah. Cal State Fullerton.
That's a 2-piece, right?
Yeah, 2-piece.
Yeah, the 2-piece is the best, man.
Yeah, but Buster Posey changed that a little bit, right?
He changed a lot.
He changed a lot.
Yachty was probably one of the.
Oh, another 2. Yes, right. Yachty never wore the 2-piece.
Yachty used that. Yachty had. I mean, Yachty could get whatever he wanted. He's like. I heard he used. So the first All-Star mask that came out, the hockey mask, that's what Yachty uses, and he was the only one to be able to get that old school model every year.
Wow.
Like everybody else had to use whatever they came out with, but I think Yachty was the only one that he could use that. Like All-Star made him. I mean, it's Yachty, right?
Right.
I mean, All-Star made him the old school one special every year. That's what I heard.
Wow,
man.
Well, hey, you know what? It's Yachty, baby. Yeah.
What are you, Kurt? You're a Rawlings guy or All-Star?
I was a Nike guy.
That's
I was
right.
Nike Under Armour, but more Nike my whole career, and then for mask I used Force 3 at the end of my career.
Force 3.
So one of my good friends, Tyler Flowers Mason, actually uses that mask. I told him about it. It's got the springs in it. So one of my really good friends, Tyler Flowers, turned me on to it when I played with him in Atlanta, or actually before Atlanta. And ever since 16 or 17, I started using that mask, and I used it for the rest of my career for like the last 7 years. And I swear by that mask.
Must have picked your brain on that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Man.
But yeah, Nike. I mean,
Can't go wrong with Nike.
You can't go wrong with Nike and Marucci. I use Marucci a lot too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I want to thank Jeff for making this happen as well. I'm gonna send him a little clip later. Thank you, Jeff, and shout out to everyone out there. Happy New Year, happy 2025.
Yeah. Like we said, thank you again, Kurt, man. It's a lot of insight, a lot of information, a lot of great stories. You know, and I think this is a baseball player's dream in the sense to hear those championship convos and all that, to build on that and all that. So thank you again for that. You know, and on to the next podcast that we do and all that. We got more stories to come by to go, and you know, I'm sure by then you'll have more stories about travel ball, and we can definitely go into that as
I
well.
want to hear that.
So
I really appreciate it. I love talking baseball, especially with good baseball people. I love talking baseball, and so I was glad that you guys asked. I love it. So thank you guys for having me.
yeah,
Sounds
man.
good, Kurt. We'll put a clip later and tag you on it, and we'll go from there. But thanks again, appreciate it, and congratulations on your career. And winners win. You're one of them.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, guys.
Alrighty, man. Thank you guys. Hit the subscribe button, the like button, and on to the next one.
Thanks, Kurt. Have
All
a
right,
good one.
thanks, fellas. Appreciate it.
Alrighty.
Be good.
We out.
We out.